The backlash against Kansas City Chiefs star Harrison Butker is growing after his 20-minute
But
long commencement.
a name most people hadn't heard of. Harrison Butker, who is a Kansas City Chiefs player, is getting so much.
So if any of you have been on Twitter or TikTok or YouTube at some point recently, you have probably seen this man right here. This is Harrison Butker. He is the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. He gave a commencement speech at, I think it was called Benedictine College or something along those lines. I'm going to pull this 3-minute clip here. Basically, in this part, I think the whole speech is about 20 minutes long. He talks about the importance of family, gender roles, and all the bad stuff you're not supposed to talk about. So let me just play this real quick, and then we can talk about it.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2024, you are sitting at the edge of the rest of your lives. Each of you has the potential to leave a legacy that transcends yourselves and this era of human existence. In the small ways, by living out your vocation, you will ensure that God's church continues and the world is enlightened by your example. For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
Everyone there seemed to love the speech I was attending.
She's the primary educator to our children. She's the one who ensures I never let football or my business become a distraction from that of a husband and father. She's the person that knows me best at my core, and it is through our marriage that, Lord willing, we will both attain salvation. I say all of this to you because I have seen it firsthand, how much happier someone can be when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will in their life. Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no. As a man who gets a lot of praise and has been given a platform to speak to audiences like this one today, I pray that I always use my voice for God and not for myself. Everything I am saying to you is not from a place of wisdom, but rather a place of experience. I am hopeful that these words will be seen as those from a man not much older than you, who feels it is imperative that this class, this generation, and this time in our society must stop pretending that the things we see around us are normal.
All right, so that wasn't bad, right? He was just saying that, everyone's graduating, congratulations, right? But, family's important. Having a wife, husband, child is important. And I personally didn't see anything wrong with that. I think that's one thing our society has really gotten away from is like the importance of that. Like people are like, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, I want to go do this. I want to go do this job. I'm going to move up. I'm going to be a working boss. And he didn't say women have to stay in the kitchen. He didn't say you couldn't work. He didn't say that you have all your rights stripped away like all these freaks on Twitter are saying. He's just saying, and he even went on to say how important his wife is to him and how he's gotten them through everything. He was starting to tear up at one point. So it's just crazy how people everywhere are just acting about this. So let me show you this. So This lady, trans flag, gay flag, says, so Colin Kaepernick gets blacklisted from the NFL for advocating for black lives, but Harrison Butker can give a misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic speech without a peep from the NFL. And I'm supposed to believe that it's conservatives that are getting canceled. So to comment on that, Colin Kaepernick in his last year in the NFL sucked. I think he went 2-14 as a quarterback, 2-13. His stats were horrible. I think the Niners had like the second overall pick that year after that. He opted out of his contract that would have paid him, I think, $18 million the next year. So he chose not to play on that team. And then he was surprised no one wanted to sign him after he just took that team to a 2-13 record. A lot of quarterbacks aren't going to get opportunities at that. And to top that off, he had workouts with different teams for years afterwards. The Ravens have done it. The Raiders have done it. But he always sucks in those workouts. He's not a good quarterback. He had that one good year where they went to the Super Bowl, which the Niners had, I think, the best defense in the league that year. So that definitely helped. But he was just never that great a quarterback. And all he did was bash the NFL. Butker isn't bashing the NFL. He's just showing his views. It's just crazy to me. Like, you literally have Kaepernick up there comparing the NFL Combine to slavery. Why would any team sign someone like that? Because the minute you have Kaepernick on your team, once you criticize him, you're racist automatically. You can't do that. It's just unnecessary. Plus, he's not even good. If he was someone like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Patrick Mahomes, then yeah, it'd be worth it. He's not worth it. Plus, Butker's a kicker, not a quarterback. It's a little different. This is kind of funny, actually. Harrison Butker, every time a woman signs an employment contract, our country has failed us. There's a lot of stuff like this all over. I tweeted this. I thought it was interesting. People will support the NFL when there is literal convicts and wife beaters playing, but are protesting when Harrison Butker promotes having a family. And that's true. There are literal people who, like Michael Vick was in for years after he made dogs fight each other and sent to 2 years in prison. Dante Stallworth literally killed someone in his car, I think while drunk driving, spent a year in prison, then came back to the NFL. You have Kareem Hunt, beat the shit out of his wife, girlfriend, whatever, got suspended 8 games in his back. You know, it's just, you have all these things, but then something like this is the thing people like go after. You know, it blows my mind, really, because in reality, like, whether you're a man or a woman, and obviously there's people that don't want kids. If you don't want kids, then this message isn't for you, right? This is for people that want families. This isn't targeted at you. People want kids. Whether you're a man or a woman, the best thing in your life is going to be your kids. Like, I don't see why it's such a controversial thing to be like, oh, this will give you the most fulfillment. Men think that too. Men want to be able to provide for their families. Men want to be able to have kids and raise kids and stuff like that. It's just as a woman thing. And in reality, in the world we live in today, when you have all these public school indoctrinations going on, you have all these weirdos out in the world, stuff happening at daycares where kids are getting drugged and kids are getting assaulted. You know, you have all this crazy stuff going in the world. Why wouldn't you want to be around your kids as much as possible? Why wouldn't you want to try to homeschool them? Why wouldn't you want to try to teach them yourself? It's just, why would you trust public school at this point? Obviously, there's situations financially. A lot of people can't do it nowadays. Everything's expensive. You know, it's hard. But if you're financially in a situation where you can do that, why would you voluntarily work more and be away from your kid when you don't have to? It doesn't make any sense. And I think a big thing with this whole, you know, oh, women need to work, blah, blah, blah. Women need to girl boss, right? I think that was created by the government, 100%. I could be wrong. You know, maybe there were women out there that said, I want to go to work and work 40 hours a week like a slave instead of being at home with my kids. Maybe there were women like that out there. But if you look at the timing of when women started to work, it's insane. So starting in, where is it? one second. So starting in 1930s, I think, is when they started recording women in the workplace, right? So, and people, they like to say, oh, college education is the reason women have jobs. Yeah, it might have helped them get jobs, but it's not the reason. So 1930, participation rates for single women was 50%, 12% for married women. Okay, 1930. By 1970, 50% of single women, so that's still about the same, and 40% of married women participate in the workforce. It rose drastically. And then by the 90s, 74% of women between the ages 25 and 54 are in the workforce, compared to 93% of men. So what happened in these years? So 1930 is still more traditional. Men work, women stay home for the most part, right? But by the 1970s, you had World War II, you had the Korean War, you had the Vietnam War, you had the Great Depression. You had all these different events going on. And how do you get past events like that? You need to pay for them, especially war. War isn't cheap. We all know this right now with Ukraine and Israel, Gaza. War ain't cheap, right? So how are you paying for that? With tax dollars. How do you get more tax dollars? You convince 50% of the population that they should be working and be girl bosses. That was a huge win for the government. When women started doing that, they're like, yeah, we're bringing in more money now. Woo. They literally just doubled their income. That's crazy. And what blows my mind, too, is how, one, people don't see that and still trust the government blindly. I'll never understand that. But two, why would you voluntarily take your time? Like I said, if you have the means to do it, now everyone has the means. If you have the means to do it, be at home with your kid, why would you voluntarily choose to go to work for 40 hours a week and send your kid to daycare? Or what some couples do is they work opposite shifts so their kid doesn't have to go to daycare, but then you're not seeing your husband or wife, you know? It's just, I really never, I just don't understand this stuff. With like I said, if you're a single woman, you want to work, you know, but like I think if you have a family, why would you voluntarily work? That's just me. Maybe I'm just old fashioned like that. I don't know. You know, so you hear me, I'm tweeting about, you know, all this. Like, I love how women are mad at him, are basically saying they want to be slaves to big corporations, rather be at home with their families. It just doesn't make sense to me personally. Like, I really do not get it. Like, if you feel like you're a slave to your man in a situation like that where your man's working, you're at home, and you feel like you're a slave, that's more on your thought process situation or how your man's treating you. Because I guarantee you, real men in that situation would absolutely love for their wife to stay at home and would not like treat them like a second-class citizens. Because people know stay-at-home mom is not an easy job. You're with kids all day. Kids are crazy, especially when they're young. That's not an easy job. Real men wouldn't think like anything less of a woman that wanted to do that. And I think it's crazy how we live in a society where people are thought like lower of or less of for wanting to do that rather than be a girl boss. It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about all this, because it's crazy how far it's gone. Do you guys honestly think like the Chiefs are going to address this or say anything? Do you think any of his teammates are going to come out and say anything? Because, you know, he is teammates with Taylor Swift's man. They're pretty outspoken. So do you guys think anything's going to happen there? Do you think the NFL is going to say anything? Personally, for me, I think it's probably forgotten about in like a week and people will move on, right? But, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Follow my socials below, and I'll see you next time.